God, what a bummer of a week it's been. Bob Saget passing away. It's alright, though. I'm sure he's in heaven looking down on us while he's sucking some guy's dick for coke. This is The World According to Kyle podcast. Yes, and all my half-baked fanatics, you will get that joke. If you didn't get that joke, I feel sorry for you for not having seen such a great movie. R.I.P. to the great Bob Saget. And I do really like Bob Saget. Of course, I grew up on the TGIF and the Full House, but later got into his comedy and was really taken aback by just how vulgar and that he had this side of him that he could be Danny Tanner, but he could also be really incredibly vulgar. And you know what? I kind of see a lot of similarities between me and him, at least in that regard, where I can rant and rage and be depraved on here, but generally speaking, that's an outlet, and I'm quite pleasant to people in real life, but I'm not saying what I'm going through. What I have been through compares at all to Bob Saget. He had actually, if you research it, he had quite a tragic life. A lot of deaths very close to him in his early life, and not to say that I went through anything similar to that, but comedy for me, or like how I'm presenting myself, is a form of outlet, is a form of catharsis, to help me level myself out in reality, and to keep myself in check while I'm out in the real world. I find that when I'm not doing this, I have a habit of talking too much about these issues and these topics that I want to talk about, to people that might not necessarily want to hear what I'm talking about. So in that regard, where using comedy as an outlet to kind of see the world in a humorous lens, because if I wasn't laughing, I would be crying type of deal. I definitely find him very relatable in that regard. So rest in peace, Bob Saget. We also lost a couple others. We lost Louis Anderson. We lost Betty White. We lost Meatloaf. Meatloaf died of COVID. He was anti-mask, anti-vaccination. And I will go on about this later in the show. FYI, this is going to be a COVID heavy broadcast. So I will go into COVID topics later, but I don't feel like, there's so much misinformation out there. It's easy for people to get misled. But sometimes people have selfish reasons for doing things also. I don't know which camp Meatloaf fell into, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he wrote incredible music and wrote really great music. And I actually just heard this on the radio the other day, that initially when Meatloaf was first coming out, the U.S. Heavily rejected him, and he got his big break from in Toronto. A Toronto radio station or something started playing his shit, and boom! All of a sudden, Bat Out of Hell, 40 million purchases, and or 40 million album sales. The thing that's great about Meatloaf and about Meatloaf's music, I should say, is how story oriented and how long the tracks are. Like, I can't listen to the radio anymore. It's just 3.5 minute. 3.5 minute, verse, verse, chorus, type of deal. Very similarly structured. Like, I have the anti-short attention span. I need things to really captivate me and really get into them and really just be immersed by them. And that was a virtue and a quality of Meatloaf's music that is kind of lost on today's generations now. I don't think Meatloaf would probably be able to do the same thing in Toronto that he did before. But credit where credit is due. He was an incredible songwriter, an incredible musician, and really did a good part in advancing music and a qualitative advancement of music, if you will. Well, yeah, man, what a week it's been. The market's taking a downturn, the news, the deaths, all this, all this crap just coming our way. But it's always darkest before the dawn. You just got to keep plugging away and going at it and recognizing in things for what they are. And if somebody is passed and they were a valued contribution to the human species, you give a quick shout out. And you know what? Here, let me drop before we get started. Let me drop my my links if you want to get a hold of me, because sometimes I post things and I do not have the time to get to the podcast or my next podcast might not be for a week or two. So if I'm gonna get into this in a moment. If I have like a crypto position, or if I'm changing my leverage on a position in crypto, you will know about it much faster in real time if you are following me, or some of the topics that I'm talking about. You'll have, but I think it should be mainly for like if I purchase a new asset. So here's my links. So YouTube, at Kyle Max, Twitter, at Kyleverse, Instagram, KyleMax86, Facebook, Kyle Max, Reddit, TWA2K. So those are my linkies. If you feel like follow me, do so, because I did. Now we're gonna just have a brief moment of crypto before I get into the episode. So I had a shift in my positions in crypto. I know before how I had it before was that XRP was my number one leveraged asset at around 60%, and then it was HBAR, then it was SafeMoon, and then I had I believe at the time I had XDC and Jade Protocol. Okay, so all those are still in play. I still have and own those. Obviously, I'm not gonna like give up on a project. Like if I'm telling you that I'm invested in an asset, there's a very, very little chance I'm gonna own a zero of that asset in the future. Bear that in mind. So, but I did reduce my leverage when it came to H bar a little bit. So, when I had XRP in the top spot and H bar in the second and Safe Moon in the third, that is now flipped. Now I have Safe Moon in my second leverage position, and I have H bar in the third. Now XRP is probably 65 to 70% of my portfolio right now. Safe Moon has now taken over that second spot with 15 to 20% of my portfolio. Now, with 10% and less of my portfolio, like 7.5% to 5% range, I have the following. So I have Jade Protocol, which I still told you about, haven't sold, got it on the cheap, and fine with it. It went up, actually, it doubled a little bit, but we're not in it for a double up. That's, we're not just happy with a double up with Jade. It's dirt cheap, it's rock bottom. We bought it at bare minimum prices. Okay, so a simple double up will not do. Since then, it has pulled back with the rest of the bearish trend in the market. Now the other one, XDC, has remained. I've just standing pat on that. I'm probably gonna buy a little bit more actually today. It is like the markets are, well, there's discounts everywhere, but the only place where there's not a huge discount is Safe Moon. So I bought myself up to a higher leverage position in Safe Moon. I just feel I've seen very little to detract me from Safe Moon at this point. It just, like, the length of time it has been out, the advancements they've already made, the stuff that when they've come out with stuff like the wallet and the migration, they have been quality releases. And you can argue little nitpicky details about them, but they worked as John said they were going to work, the CEO of Safe Moon. And now we can nitpick at shit about them, but generally speaking, they've worked just fine. So also their vision, what they're going to do for the future, and the fact that they have only been around for so little. I mean, I personally think Safe Moon is going to shave a zero off this year. That zero will get shaved off in 2022 for Safe Moon at some point. I know, and the thing is, Safe Moon has not dropped all that much. Like, we're seeing cryptos get crushed. We're seeing half of their value drop. We're seeing 100% drops in some cryptos. Safe Moon has been relatively stable. It has not left the 2 range Canadian. I'm not talking American. I'm talking Canadian dollars. The .002 range. It is I think it was like 280 and then 275. Now it's at like 210, 215. So a lot of cryptos have done a lot worse during this recent bear trend. And actually, since I've increased my position, the reflections have been a lot more noticeable. Now, I just recently heard of a new token that is designed to enhance your Safe Moon reflections, and I believe it is called Enhance. That's, talk about appropriately named. Let me just verify that for us real quick for a moment. I'm pretty sure it's called Enhance. Sorry, this makes for great podcasting, I know. Yes, Enhance. $Enhance token. So I'm recently looking into that. I have also started looking into another one called Drip, $ Drip. Now, Drip is designed to give you 1% per day that you hold. Now, crazy. Like, so you're talking if you simply just hodl, you're getting plus 365% APY. Well, not APY, but like that's plus 360% of your initial investment. Unbelievable. Like that is, and you're paid daily. So, the price of the token actually hasn't took a hit with the market because the bears are out right now. FYI, in case you didn't notice, Bitcoin's trading at about 38 US right now. 44,310 Canadian. So the bears are out, needless to say. But this drip token also very new, something that I'm really looking forward to getting into more. And like people I've seen before, somebody have the criticism that drip is like, oh, it's too expensive for me at this time. But then that same person will go out and like spend $500 on SHIB. But the expense is relative. Like the circulating supply for drip is only 1 million. Only 1 million drip will ever be created. Okay. Now, like contrast that with SHIB. How many fucking, tens of trillions, hundreds of trillions, fucking quadrillions that they have in circulation. So, I mean, expense is very relative. I do not find it to be expensive right now. If there's only 1 million circulating supply and they're paying out 1% interest daily, and SHIB doesn't do shit, just because you can buy 1 million SHIB for fucking $100, like, that's not. SHIB is more expensive, is what I'm trying to tell you. Just because there are, a few zeros in front of it, it doesn't mean that one is less expensive than the other. It's relative to market cap, okay? So I get annoyed at that coin's too expensive. Well, buy fucking one of them. Buy 0.5 of them. Buy 25% of it. Just because the price doesn't matter. The market cap matters. Don't look at price. I would rather have five drip than fucking than 10 million SHIB. So what is that like? What does that tell you? Price doesn't mean shit. Price doesn't mean shit at all. It's just your perception of how much you have. Okay, so that is a very big thing that the crypto market needs to, the general crypto market needs to just kind of forget about. So one more thing to talk about in regards to crypto, and we can move on to the rest of the episode. Now, I did add a position. Now, if you were following me on one of my many social media platforms, like I advise you should, if you're interested in what I'm doing with my portfolio in real time, then make sure you're following me. So I did have another position which I invested in, another crypto which I invested in. So, and it's about the same, it's about a 10% play. It's about a 7.5 to 10% play. And that project is called CrossWallet. CWT. So it's currently trading at like 5.50 decimal 0.055. So it's had kind of a weird trajectory, to say the least. So when it started out, it was trading like around 10-11 cents, and I thought it was a buy, and I had it in mind as a buy. But like I had to beef up my positions in other crypto. So I kind of brushed it to the side and said, "Oh, I'll buy this later." Big mistake, because I should have bought at least some, because it shot up to like 35, 40, again Canadian, when my default is to talk in Canadian money. So it shot up to 35, 40, 42 cents, and I'm just like, fuck, man, I missed my time. I missed my opportunity to buy. God damn myself. So fortunately for me, unfortunately for the other people who invested in it, was that it came down with the rest of the market. Now, when I was looking at buying it at I'm at 35 cents, I'm just like, damn, that's kind of expensive, right? But then it pulled back, and so I got it at these cheap prices, which I didn't think it was going to be available at these prices again, because this is a bit of a risk, but I like their outline and I like what they're trying to do. They're trying to be like a complete multi-bridge wallet, to where you will only need one wallet, and that is the one you are going to use. So whether you're exchanging an ETH, or whether you're exchanging off the Binance Smart Chain, or it wants to be just the complete multidisciplinary wallet, the only wallet that you will need to use. And I've been having a shit ton of issues with the Trust wallet, and when I'm trying to stake my coins, because I've been trying to stake my Jade through the Trust wallet, and it's just not been working at all. It's just literally like I cannot fucking find a way to the Jade website seems to connect to my Trust wallet, and it recognizes the amount of Jade that I have, but it's just not allowing me to stake. So that's kind of a side note, but I think that the market is open for a wallet that can, if it tries to be similar to Trust wallet, in the fact where it can have so many cryptos, you can keep so many cryptos in your wallet, but it also tries to be very actively it tries to be more active in its movability of your assets for staking, or for or just in general transfers. Like, I've had so many issues with migrating tokens when I keep my tokens on Trust wallet, and that's where I usually buy my shit. But I'm going to need to get into using MetaMask, because I guess that is, and even though I don't like ETH and I don't like the gas fees, that if I want to start staking, that you have to use MetaMask, and you have to keep track of the gas fees and have a little bit of ETH in your account. And even though I don't like the ETH gas fees, which is a reason why I haven't been investing in it, and many other reasons on top of that. I don't know, it's kind of in that mid-range of, I don't know if it's convex or concave, and I'd rather buy things at the lower points and try and hit that upside, where I kind of feel like I missed the boat on ETH. Needless to say, I think there's an open market for Cross Wallet to kind of really take the market by the balls. And so its circulating supply is 125 million. I think that's also the total supply. And if you look at Trust Wallet and the fact that I didn't even know Trust Wallet had a coin, to be perfectly honest. But they do have a coin, TWT. And, well, when I checked last, this is bear market granted. So we'll compare, like, when things were good, like Trust Wallet was trading at about $1.25 Canadian. And that was with a, I think it was like 375 million supply. So with the 375 million supply, Trust Wallet, which is running a base level program that's is not very cross compatible, and is and you don't even know they have a coin, is able to get to those levels. Like if literally Cross Wallet just does what Trust Wallet does, it's a $5 coin because it has 125 million circulating. It's $5 Canadian coin because it has 125 million circulating supply, where the Trust Wallet has like 400 million. So if Trust Wallet, with as many issues as it has, being able to get to $1.25 when we're moderate market conditions, then Cross Wallet, if it just does that as a minimum, which its goals seem to be much greater than that, then it's a $5 coin. So to be able to, now it's a gamble because who knows what happens, if they'll come into bugs in what they're trying to do, if the delay in their goals gets shifted longer. But either way, I was happy to have got in at those prices, and it actually started to pump a little bit before this. Before fucking the Bears came out, it was like almost at 88 cents Canadian from where I bought it at, like at 0.61 cents, and now since it's even gone lower and is at 5.5, so great time to get in. Buying it at 35 cents is a little bit different than buying it at 5 or 6 cents. I'll tell you that much, because a lot of the future is uncertain. But from what I read, they are going to be releasing an app for iOS and an app for Android in Q1 of 2022. So really looking forward to that, and really looking forward to getting my hands on the app, and if it's as good as and if it's as even not even as good, but if it's just functional in the ways they say it's going to be functional, and if they have just are reaching their goals of what they're trying to create, then I may have to look into investing more. So like I said, follow me, or if you're following me already, keep following me, and I will update you on my positions in real time, so you will know you'll know more about in real time about what I'm doing, because before I got the opportunity to come out and do a pod, CWT was pumping pretty nicely right after I bought it, because I felt it was just bare bottom prices for this. If it just hit 35 cents in a moderate market, and it's down to 5 cents, and nothing really has changed. It's just been a more bearish trend. It was more of a victim of just the trend than any news in general. Oh man, it's amazing. Even though I've been, shit's been happening, and it's been a kind of a crummy mood lately. I haven't been listening to music, and then I started, because if you've listened before, you know my issues with headphones, and that I have that headphones break for me literally all the time. But I started listening to music more on my way to work and stuff, and it's amazing how much music, has a good benefit to me, and how and the importance music affects on my mood, and in helping me function. You go a couple weeks, which I did, without headphones and without having my music before, when I'm going to work and stuff. And it's it's amazing how much of a positive benefit just listening to the whatever gets you in the right vibe does. So I'm all about experimenting and trying things, and that seems to be consistent for me. Is that whenever I I don't have my music, or don't listen to my music for a bit, it always seems to I always seem to have a crummier mood than when I have my music around. Very similar to if I have good coffee or not. Just one of those things that always helps level me out. And if I take a pause for a while, I'm just having a sip break. This podcast is not brought to you by Stella Artois, but I am enjoying it nonetheless. Now, I don't mean to promote heavy alcohol use, or I don't mean to really come out like a heavy drinker or anything. I work 5-6 days a week, 10 plus hour days, and when I'm doing my podcast, generally speaking, it is on my days off. So, I'm either, pre party, or pre, getting ready to forget about the existence we are currently living in, and it just helps. And on top of that, it helps ease my nerves too. I used to be a strip club DJ, and before the first little while, when I was getting on the microphone, sometimes a few drinks it helped kind of loosen me up a little bit, where I'm not so inside my own head and thinking about every little thing, and I can just go on, and it's you know what it is, right? It's liquid confidence. That's why we go out and hook up with people while we're on this. If it wasn't for alcohol, there would be a deficit of population. Most likely. That's a hypothesis of mine. We'll see. I don't know. There has not been the reverse test of that. So did you guys see Doug Ford and his little red shovel? Did you guys see Doug Ford with? So did you guys see Doug Ford and his little red shovel trying to dig out a car with a shovel that is literally like a toy for a fucking child? In an obvious PR stunt, an obvious PR move, when popularity of him is going down. It's just so funny to that people were calling. I was like, how bad could the shovel have been? And I'm like, he's trying to dig out he could have used his fucking hand and it would have produced the same result. Just fucking politicians are just so out of touch with reality. And the fact that people are getting pissed off at this, and if you've seen Sid Seixeiro, shout out to Sid Seixeiro, great, great TV personality. I guess he's on breakfast television right now. I used to like Tim and Sid, and he was great for The Score. Great, very professional broadcaster, and even he was like on tilt from this, and things are starting to really break down when shit like this gets called out, right? When shit like this, this is an obvious PR stunt, while there's shit ton of people like who are stranded on fucking highways and freezing to death. And you go out and do this little fucking PR stunt where you bring out a little dinky fucking shovel, a little fucking toy shovel, and pretend to fucking dig somebody's car out. Like, give me a fucking break. Like, that is and I love that fucking people are calling this out. And I certainly think Doug Ford is better than a lot of alternatives. Granted, he doesn't have as much power as people think, because the people who are calling the shots are the people we do not elect. That is for a different aside. That is for a different story. But the fact that people are getting mad about this is a good sign. Because politics are failing us. Like, the way we're doing politics is very super traditional. It's the way they've been doing it for fucking thousands and thousands of years. And we have not advanced since then. And we're still one side, another side. And it's just, this is not conducive to a healthy body politic. And I've said before that I think very little people have the intellectual ability to be able to vote. I think it's like 10, maybe 5% of people actually have the intellectual tools to be able to be trusted with a vote. Most people, it's basically just flipping a coin, or basically they're just playing one side or another based on their relationships in life and who they're with and stuff like that. And we need to get past this. It's a healthy thing that people are starting to get upset at the bullshit that's going on with politics, because it is all horseshit and it's all dividing us. Like I feel that we had a real missed opportunity. There was a very big missed opportunity for us as a collective, as a humankind, to be able to find something for us to be able to, both regardless of left or right, get behind and attack, and that is the pandemic. And it just fucking drives me crazy, the politicization of the pandemic, because we had a very big missed opportunity to be able to get together and be able to throw aside our differences and say, hey, this thing is bad. This thing, we need to do whatever we can to get this shit. But it was too much of a fucking, the right took the bait, the right took the bait. And it was too much of a opportunity to be able to, go against it. And that's the issue with the right. Like, they do have some points, I got upset with the left for a lot of reasons. But when they took the bait is that they're willing to attack anything the left is for. Where no society has been able to survive with just unfettered libertarianism. In fact, just regular fettered libertarianism has not even been able to produce functioning societies even half as well as socialism. So if you're a fucking libertarian, which I am a libertarian, but I'm a libertarian that also understands that you need the government to mitigate in certain aspects. You cannot just have dumbasses doing dumb things and fucking over everybody. And the right really took the bait. And they took the bait with that, and they took the bait with the fucking Capitol riots. What a fucking disgrace. And they want to compare the Black Lives Matter protests with what they did in fucking Capitol Hill. How fucking disgusting. How fucking disgusting. And how can you compare the two? In one, they were protesting and some riots broke out, but it was generally speaking a fucking global protest about the cops abusing their authority and literally killing a man in cold blood. Killing somebody in cold blood. And you want to compare the fucking the riot of a Capitol building protesting a fucking legal election and try and compare and conflate the two? Get the fuck out of here. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And the right is operating on such a base level fucking modus operandi that they're just willing to fucking go against anything the left is in favor of, to just fucking go against, to just be able to say that they're the problem with the world. Get your fucking head out of your asses, because you guys, a lot of you right-wingers, your populations are dying because you're not taking fucking COVID seriously. You already lost in every regard, even no matter what. You cannot say Trump. There's no math you can show me that would suggest that Trump won. And the main point is that Trump did not protest before the election about how the election was rolled out. Okay? He did not. If he would have said something and say, hey, these mail-in ballots, this and that, they shouldn't do this. He had no problem with allowing the mail-in ballots before the election. He did not mention anything of it. Then when he seen he was losing, now all of a sudden it's a rigged election because of the mail-in ballots. Well, I got news for you. COVID was happening and they needed to do it. And there's no numbers that you could say that could justify you winning, even if they took out the fucking mail-in ballots. So that's what you fucking tried to overthrow democracy about? Oh my God, give me a break. Give me a break. And now, as you can see, we're transitioning into the COVID portion of the show, which is probably going to take up the rest of the show. FYI, so if you don't want to hear about this shit, then best turn it off now. So, and that kind of plays into what I just said, plays into another issue that I have. Is everybody wants to claim all these conspiracy theories. But the problem is that conspiracy theorists, they never tell us about anything before it actually happens. So a lot of these people are just dickheads and douchebags and are just, harmfully contrarian, grown babies, if you will. Because they never tell us anything before. This is no. It's always after. Now the government is doing this and that, and thanks for the FYI. Okay, so all these people that are saying Bill Gates is in on the conspiracy. Well, Bill Gates was the one warning us before about these things that were happening. Now, I'm no Bill Gates fan. There's speculation as to the reasons why the divorce with his wife happened and the fact that he was close with Jeffrey Epstein. But I'm not the biggest Bill Gates fan in the world. But I mean, to turn around and say that, he wants people microchipped but he was the one warning people that something like this could happen. Okay, and you weren't. And he is extremely fucking over with the patents, and how he bought the patents and had a shitty rollout of the vaccinations for everybody program, and that fact that he just wanted to he just used it as an excuse to protect patents, which have been and I'm usually and I don't know how I feel about patents, but I kind of think you should just let the market sort itself out. But the patents for the virus who knows if we had a stronger rollout of the vaccines, if we didn't have all these patents and we didn't have to wait 100 million doses this week and then only 50 million next week, etc., etc. That who knows if we had a better rollout if we didn't have all these patent laws governing the distribution of the vaccine, if we would not have had a lot better results with this now. And you wanna sit here and talk shit about the way China operates and the socialism and communism, etc., etc. Where are the fucking people dying? Okay, and I said before, this is a bad look for democracy. It's a bad look for freedom, because there's you're not allowed. You can't put the clamps down on people and be able to do what you need to do to fight this, because there'll just be just enough of a large population, just enough of a population of people who, in order to exercise their freedoms, are gonna not want to do it. And that's exactly what's happening. So with great freedom comes great responsibility, and right now there is zero responsibility, zero respect for your fellow human beings, zero desire to do anything that isn't completely self-serving, and that is wrong, and that is what will bring down democracy. That's what will bring down freedom, and that's why America has done such a poor job at exporting its values across the globe. You know what? And I would have a lot more respect for anti-vaxxers if they were honest and they just admitted what we all know about them. Like, like when Kirk Cousins said, "If I die, I die." What he should have said was, if I kill other people by spreading this virus, since I'm a healthy person, there's a lot of disproportionately advantaged people, then they die. And in the odd chance that I die, then, I die too. But if you just said that, then you would be a lot more... you're a piece of shit still, but you'd be a lot more respectable, because we know you're not just hiding behind lies. The one doctor out of 10,000 that I'm listening to just so happens to be anti-vaccination. Man, you can't get every country in the world to agree on anything, yet they agree that the virus is here, it's killing people, and it's a problem. So, you know what? Yes, I would have a lot more respect for the anti-vax if they just said, "Hey, yeah, I only care about myself. Yeah, that's it. If you die from the vaccine, fuck you. I ain't gonna have the smallest risk of anything getting fucked up putting a vaccine into my body, and in order to help you, because I'm not the demographic of people that's getting fucked over the most by this." So just say that. Just say that, because that is what your actions are proving, okay? That is what your actions are doing, okay? The virus is not a personal problem. It's not. That's what I get upset with these people about. Oh, well, it's not for me. It's not for me. It's a global problem. There are some problems that are just personal problems, that are you problems, and that you need to fix. The virus is not a you problem. It's a global pandemic. You cannot give a personal excuse for something that is a social issue. Okay? There needs to be a social answer to a social issue. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Imagine if our leaders did that. I just personally felt like bombing this country. It may have caused millions to die in a war, but I personally felt like it was the right move, It's just you cannot, you're using the wrong frame of reference to go about it. It's not an individual problem. It's not a you issue. It's an us issue. We are all suffering for this equally, and I do not respect anybody who is not willing to have such a minimal sacrifice. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about such a minimal sacrifice. This is like the moral equivalent of not being willing to piss on a fire to put it out for humanity. And I'm not... The thing that bothers me too is I'm not a super vaccinate myself every fucking type of year for the flu type of guy. The flu is very different. These are very different things. People who are in their 40s and are healthy are not suffocating to death and dying in excruciating manner from the flu. This is and the issue that I have a lot with the Joe Rogan camp and the anti-vax right-wing guys is this whole health narrative. Like, okay, if you're unhealthy, you have or if you're old, they don't say old, they say unhealthy, because that it disproportionately affects, more obese people, and it disproportionately affects older people. But they never mention the older people. They always mention the more obese population. And they do this for a reason, and the reason is because they want it to seem like it's a metabolic issue. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but COVID is not a fucking metabolic issue. Lots of people who are in shape are dying from this. And on top of that, fat people don't contribute to our economy, or old people don't contribute to our economy? What? Because they're not fucking jacked? As far as I know, I would be very skeptical if a doctor came to me and was just super jacked. Okay, because that's a guy that's spending way too much time fucking pumping iron than he is hitting the books. Now we're going to go on for this. I'm just going to take a little quick break. I'll be right back. Okay, and you're seeing the evidence everywhere of the effectiveness of the vaccines, and you are really just intentionally blinding yourself to reality by ignoring the data that is going against you, and extreme cherry picking the data that is actually in your favor, or that actually goes against you. Now all these people, fascism about the virus. Well, I mean, what else are we supposed to do besides have mandates? You're not getting the people who are perfectly have no good reason for not getting the virus or not getting the vaccine or not getting the vaccine. So, what do you want? You seem really concerned with fascism, bro. If you're so worried about it, but aren't willing to risk getting a shot, then maybe you're really the fascist there, fascist. Maybe you want fascism because you want to point your finger and point and say talk about the bureaucrats implementing fascism, so you can have your own self-serving agenda. Okay, maybe that's what's going on. And I love how all these people don't give a fuck about bureaucrats who literally control every aspect of how we operate normally, and then all of a sudden they have an issue with vaccine mandates. Too late! You didn't care about freedom before, now we just gotta roll with this soft socialism, you know? You didn't give a fuck about people getting stopped and searched. You didn't give a fuck about seatbelt laws. You didn't give a fuck about people not being able to have open bottles in public or jaywalk or fucking like. Okay, now all of a sudden vaccines are fucking are an assault on freedom. You didn't give a fuck about all these other things. Oh, because those only affected black people. Oh, sorry. You could just deal with it the same way you expect others to deal with government dictating exactly how business should operate and how people should behave. Comparing things that aren't Nazi Germany to Nazi Germany is the new Nazi Germany, in my opinion. And I'm glad that Jewish people are starting to call out Joe Rogan for this. Now, I used to be a big fan of Joe Rogan. I got a lot of good things out of Joe Rogan, but you know, now ever since I think the change happened when he decided to move to Texas, and when he moved to Texas, that was the big, you know, maybe when you move to Texas, you don't pay taxes, but you kind of have to think a certain way. That's just kind of my conclusion, especially after seeing the heel flip of Joe Rogan that has happened recently. But I've always kind of, you know, he's a bit of a chud. He has a lot of good points, but by and large, I don't listen to the Joe Rogan podcast for Joe Rogan. I just like a lot of his guests. Like, he has great guests. Well, he had great guests before he was just pandering to fucking Tucker Carlson crowd. Like, he had good guests and they had good advice. But just because I would take Joe Rogan's advice on how to get jacked or how to be good optimally doesn't mean I'm taking his vaccine advice. And a lot of people point out this speech Joe Rogan had on freedom, where there's, you know, jet planes flying overhead, and it's like, man, your freedom, because you have your freedom, and you know, you fucking you know, you can't let people take away freedoms, and the freedom's the only thing you know what they should have had instead of jet planes and fucking like American flags flying in the background? They should have had people fucking choking to death off of deprived oxygen, and they should have spliced scenes of that, and fucking hospitals crowded, and fucking full of fucking anti-vaccine people. They should have had that, those video clips splicing through the fucking footage instead of fucking flags flying. You want a real look at how your freedom is working out? That's how the fuck it's working out, Joe Rogan. Oh my god. These fucking people, man. People are so hopeless and cannot think for themselves. And it's not the fact that Joe Rogan is doing his own thing for himself. That's fine. But the influence that he has on other people, and the fact that he's probably responsible for at least 25% of the American population that's unvaccinated, being unvaccinated, is a serious fucking issue. People are too influential. People don't know. People cling to heroes. And though I really liked and respected Joe Rogan, I mean, you have to have your own personal lines, right? You can't just cling your wagon to this guy, because who knows what he's doing it for and what he's in for. You're not close enough to the situation to be able to see what the fuck is going on. On top of that, wasn't Joe Rogan a guy who used to feed raw horse dick to people, and who used to have people fucking, swim in a fucking bed of worms for a chance to win $10,000? And you're gonna take this guy's fucking advice on whether the world should be fucking vaccinated or not? Give me a fucking break. Ugh. It's like this one chick who I used to work with. She has since been fired. Let's just say her name is Susie. Now, Susie is not too bright. Now, Susie is the type of person who needs to be told what to do. So, I talked to her and I explained to her logically about why you would want the why you would want the mRNA vaccines over the Johnson & Johnson, or what was the other one? The AstraZeneca. And I explained, it's this mRNA technology. You don't have the actual virus, but it creates a synthetic protein that mimics the properties of the virus, so that your cells will recognize the virus when it gets into it and be able to attack it. Which, strangely enough, the people who advised, treating COVID with fucking ivermectin never bring up is that, if you have other treatments, even I heard CBD has been preventing COVID infections. CBD, ivermectin, fucking monoclonal antibodies, what are they doing to stop COVID when you don't know you have it? Because you can be asymptomatic and still spreading it. What are those doing for you? They're doing fuck all. They're not preventing they're not preventing the virus from spreading, which is why the vaccines work so fucking well. You can't. So to just go and treat it. Maybe Joe Rogan can do it on his own because he can isolate, but he's not. He's doing fucking stand-up comedy everywhere and fucking spreading fucking germs during his stand-up. And he's spreading it without giving a fuck. But you can't say you're treating it and it's the same thing as getting the vaccine. 'Cause if you have the vaccine, your body is able to attack it when you don't know you have it. So Susie from work, she was all, even though I told her all this shit, she's like, oh, well, I'm going to get the Johnson & Johnson. I'm just like, why? Why? Why would you possibly get the Johnson & Johnson? Well, I think it's a better vaccine. What? You think it's a fucking better vaccine? Why? Because you only need one shot. Oh my god. This is how fucking dense. This is how dense people are. This is how fucking dense people are. Can you tell me something that's happened to me a few times before? That's usually the point I'm leaving mid-sentence. The state of the left and right in society is just completely fucking gone. It's completely fucking gone. It's just become a spitting at each other match. And that's why I will never adhere to any ideology or another. I'm completely independent. All I care about is issues. Because people who hitch their wagons to politicians or to parties or to political leanings, they can be misled. And I cannot be misled because I don't give a fuck. And I think politics are to have these two sides voting for one or the other is such a primitive way of operating society. And the way people are responding to this, you know what I can tell from the way people are responding to this is that you have not faced great hardship in your life. And you know why I don't think they ever faced great hardship in their life? Is because I wish COVID was the worst thing that happened to me in my life. I wish being able to stay inside of a house and hunker down for let's just say it's only for a few years, and hunker down for a few years, and to if that was the worst thing that has happened to my life would have been pretty good. I think you would have lived a pretty privileged life if that was the worst thing that had happened to you. Okay? Definitely, I think it is a point of privilege. If COVID is the worst thing, and I'm not talking about the deaths, I'm not talking about the people who have died. I'm not trying to minimize that. I'm just saying for your average person who is, who probably won't die from this, who is not disproportionately affected by this, that if hunkering down and getting a vaccine, and sacrificing a couple years of your life, if that is the worst thing that has happened to you, you've lived a fucking privileged life. This is not tyranny. This is not tyranny. This is us doing what we need to do to move past this. And I agree with you with the other side in the respect that the case counts are not high enough for us to go through this for 5 years. Either we find a way to combat this or we don't, and we have to we cannot keep locking people down. The government cannot keep picking winners or losers of this pandemic and just saying, "Oh, you're hired now you're fired, now you're hired, now you're fired, now you're hired, now you're fired," because you chose the wrong industry. Okay, that cannot continue based on the case counts. And who knows what this virus will mutate into. I'm not saying one way or the other. If somewhere down the line that the worst properties of Delta and the transmissibility of Omicron is what this fucking thing mutates into, then we got a big problem. We have a very big problem. So to take this lightly in any regard just shows a level of fucking stupidity and super selfishness that I just cannot get behind. And once again, as I said, we missed a real opportunity to get together and get behind and fight something together. Okay? At least America did. And you know what another thing I noticed? I think it's funny also how anti-vaxxers, Joe Rogan, blame, quote, big pharma, end quote, for the issues. Now, pharma, what do you think about pharmaceuticals? Okay, that's kind of different from vaccines, right? So why aren't they saying, quote, big vaccine, end quote, when they're trying to present their skepticism? This is not a one-to-one comparison, as pharmaceuticals are often abused and overprescribed. So what the right is doing is that they're using this as a red herring argument to attempt to shift the negatives of prescription drugs onto vaccines. If they would have said big vaccine, they would have sounded absolutely retarded, because big vaccine has been extremely successful and has saved hundreds of millions of lives without the downside of pharmaceuticals. You want to talk about how... So that is their way of... and I will completely agree that the opioid crisis and the psychotropic drugs and the overprescription of medication is a serious fucking issue. Serious fucking issue. But you cannot... it's not an apples to apples comparison between the two. It is not an apples to apples comparison between the two, because the only super negative of vaccines has been when the scientists have gotten the dosage wrong back when they were actually giving you the actual virus instead of the mRNA. So when you were getting the actual virus, scant amounts of the actual virus to train your immune system to attack the virus. So what happened with polio is that they got the mixture wrong, and then some people died because they got injected with too much polio, and they basically got a super injection of polio. Now you don't even have that with mRNA vaccine. So it's a red herring argument when they use big pharma. Anytime I hear quote big pharma use horseshit, I know that is a person who is not looking at big vaccine because they want to say big pharma because these companies do produce drugs that are pharmaceuticals, but pharmaceuticals are totally different from vaccines. It's like saying, the iPhone is good, but Apple computers are a different fucking thing. You cannot compare the two. It's not an apples to apples comparison. And that's how you know the arguments that's how you know you're on the wrong side, when the arguments that are so childish, when they're just grasping at straws, when they're hoping Bob Saget had died from some sort of adverse reaction to the vaccine. They were just like, whoa, what's he died for? Like, now, Meatloaf died from COVID. Obviously, no surprise. He was fucking anti-vax. I'm not sitting here, what happened to Meatloaf? What happened to Meatloaf? It's like, no, I'm literally not shocked at all. What would be shocking is someone dying from some famous person dying from an adverse reaction to the vaccine, because you're the one that's grasping at straws, not me. I'm not surprised and I'm not caught off guard by the fact that Meatloaf died because he was anti-mask and anti-vaccinated. Okay, you are. Whoa, Bob Saget, what happened? What happened? He had a fucking heart attack. That's what happened. That's what fucking happened, and he had bad heart issues. So. Stop trying to find things. If you're trying to, find the needle in the haystack of fucking ideas, that's how you know you're in the wrong and your ideas are fucking stupid. By orders of magnitude, by the way. It's not like you're stupid by just like, this side or that side. No, but by order, you are dumb and delusional by orders of magnitude. By multiple orders of magnitude. Okay? Not just a fucking coin flip. By looking at the data in its totality, you are orders of magnitude fucking more dumb than a coin flip. You know what, guys? If politics were a tool to strip humanity of individual identity, then I would say politics have been incredibly successful. People, like I said with Susie, are fucking boring and predictable, and they fucking just follow things for the sake of following them. They are not unique. They do not think about things on their own, and they need to be told. That's why we need to have something where people need to pass some sort of bar to be able to vote. You cannot just have dumbasses voting all the time. That needs to stop. And I don't subscribe to any political leaning. So you want to say I'm left, you want to say I'm right. I reject any political leaning you try to put on me. My way of thinking is that people that say I'm a this or I'm a that, it's for one reason and one reason only: intellectual weakness. If you subscribe to a political party, then you alone are responsible for the misuses and twistings people use of your philosophy to kill or commit terrorism or do whatever fucking heinous shit that they're going to do. I do not subscribe to a leaning or a party for my identity. I have my identity, and I vote for somebody based on how much of those check boxes they fill for me, because that's the best option that I have right now. I am not able to vote for things specific. It's like this. This is why I am an independent, and I will never claim party allegiance. People who aren't independent, that's like going to the casino and planning what you're gonna do. You know, I don't tip my hand. You know, I'm not I'm not going and saying I'm betting black. Then I go to the roulette table, red. I'm going to go to the blackjack table and I'm going to bet everything on the first hand. No, you don't do that. And that's basically what politics is forcing us to do. So, we have to be able to look past this, and we have to be able to, as a people, get past this. There has to be a better way of doing things, and all I know is that this is not it. It's dividing us needlessly. It's forcing people to compromise their integrity and compromise their morals in order to capitulate to a side or a leaning which might not necessarily give a shit about them, which doesn't give a shit about them. Let's be quite perfectly honest. Anyways, guys, my apologies. This was a Corona-centric edition of the TWA2K. I look forward to talking about other stuff and having a little fun and, getting into crypto and human psychology and this and that, and having some fun things we can go over. But I mean, I felt like this has been long overdue, and that I've been kind of intentionally avoiding it. So look forward to for this year, I'm going to start releasing clips. So I'm going to break down, I'm going to have the full episode, and I'm also going to release clips and kind of segmentize my podcast as well. So, if you don't want to listen to the full shebang, then or a few topics have only piqued your interest, then that will be available to you on the channel as well. Once again, folks, follow me on YouTube at Kyle Max, Twitter at Kyleverse, IG KyleMax86, Facebook Kyle Max, Reddit TWA2K. And that was The World According to Kyle podcast. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. You have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you again on the next one.